Good morning. It's Valentine's Day, and thank you for joining us today on the FREA Manic Monday with Ann and Nancy. We appreciate you joining us this morning. My name is John Green with Association Member Benefits Advisors. We've got a really special treat today. We're looking forward to this topic of conversation, but before we get started, I just want to do a couple of quick housekeeping details. If you will notice, the participants on this call are not on a normal Zoom, meaning that we don't see your picture, we can't hear you, things like that. You're in a listen only mode. And what that means is if you want to communicate, feel free to drop it into chat, type it into the Q&A feature, either one of those. We will be glad to respond to the chat and the Q&A throughout the presentation today. Our special speaker today will also pause a couple of times, do some polling, things of that nature. So it's a pretty interactive conversation today. And at the end of the conversation, we will stop the recording. We will just open it up for any type of questions that you may have of Ann, of Bob, of Ann, or myself, whatever you want to do. And we'll just talk about those things, and we'll do that using the reaction bar at the bottom just to hold up your hand and I can unmute you, that type of thing as well. So you'll also notice the QR code here on the bottom. If you have a question about something that you hear in the conversation today, you can use your smartphone, hover over that QR code, open up a little form. You can ask that, and we'll get someone back to handle that question for you. Also, at the end, we'll have that QR code as well. We record every one of these webinars, and Fagan then posts them out in the following email, puts them on the website so you can follow up. We do thank you. We have hundreds of views after these webinars. So I know you're sharing them, you're looking at them, going over maybe with your family members, something like that as well. But grab a pen and paper today, because we're going to talk about something that we haven't talked about so far, but it's something that's very, very important and actually a little bit personal. I had a conversation with my mother yesterday about this very particular topic that we're talking about today. So before we jump in there and talk about that topic and introduce our special speaker, I want to bring up Ann and Fagan, the Executive Director of FREA, and share us a little bit of a message you have for us today, Ann.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. And we're really excited to be doing this webinar. This is going to be a great one. It's our first guest presenter also, but also we have Ann French here, who is from Broward County. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of information for you. Please stick with us until the end. We'll also be doing Spin the Wheel, and 2 lucky people will win $50, because I made the executive decision that the $50 is on the color red, and it's Valentine's Day. So there will be no spin the wheel, but 2 people will win $50. So this is a near and dear subject to my heart, this age in place, because I have, as you may remember, I've mentioned her before, a 92-year-old mother who is living in a condominium in Michigan. And she absolutely does not want to be a burden to her children. So she does not want to move into a facility because she feels like that would be a burden on her children. So instead, my siblings go to her home every day. One of them, I have 6, and every one of them will visit every day, several times. So she's not being a burden, she thinks, because she's not in an assisted living facility. We all want to be able to age in place. I bought my house with that in mind. I have 2 steps to my front door. I have no steps inside. I'm trying to be very careful. I can walk to the grocery store from my house. I'm planning for that. I'd love to think that I'm going to be this physically healthy my whole life. That would be a dream. It probably won't happen. So this is a great topic for everybody to pay attention to, be it parent, be it child, be it you. I just think it's very valuable. Tell your friends that when it goes up on the website, they can watch it without having attended the webinar, and they'll get exactly the same benefits that you're going to today. So I'm going to turn it over to Ann French, because she's doing something else that's near and dear to my heart, and that's our foundation. And she had an incredibly successful, with her help of her unit, the Broward County Retired Educators Association. They did an amazing amount of baskets, and those baskets just netted them a terrific amount of money for their foundation. And Broward County always does their basket raising during Mardi Gras. So there you go. They didn't have any fun at all, you can tell. It looked like the best party ever. I was in Tallahassee. I could not attend. Next year, I swear it's on my calendar. But Ann, I'm going to turn it over to you and off you go.
Great. Thank you, Ann. As she mentioned, Broward County is very, very committed to raising money for scholarships, local scholarships. Last year, our unit gave $9,000 scholarships to high school seniors and continuing education students. And we do this in a variety of ways, but the biggest one is our annual scholarship luncheon. This year it was Mardi Gras. It isn't always Mardi Gras, but it's always in February. And we had a great time. If you can notice on the screen, we all dressed up funny, strange hats and boas and all kinds of craziness. But the big fundraiser was our baskets. There's in the round picture on the screen, you see the finished product. But what happened was in January, all of our members bring things to our meeting, things that they don't want anymore, new items, a lot of Christmas presents that they got that they really don't want, lots of lotions. We had an air fryer, we had purses, we had lots of gift cards and all kinds of things. And the Sunday before our luncheon, 8 wonderful, wonderful members came over to my house and have what I call controlled chaos. My living room was covered with all these prizes. We ended up putting together 69 baskets, and we transported those to the luncheon. The deal was if you help put together the baskets, you get to carry them to the luncheon. And we had a great time. As I said, 69 baskets. And the way we work it is you buy one ticket for a few dollars, but if you buy $20 worth of tickets, you get a special ticket for the pot of gold and some other prizes. And the pot of gold has worked out really well. It's literally a pot, and at every meeting, members put in their coins. And this year, the lucky winner collected $170. And considering the fact that we met via Zoom primarily last year, we didn't have a chance to collect our coins. That's pretty good. That actually is probably one of the highest amounts we've had. And in addition, these special prizes, we have a very supportive credit union, Bright Star Credit Union, and they donated $200 gift cards. And then Amba, thank you, donated an iPad mini, which is featured on your screen. So these people were very, very lucky. And all in all, we raised $1,100 on our baskets, which I think is the largest we've ever raised. And it's just a lot of work, controlled chaos, but it's fun and profitable. And questions, any or comments, concerns?
Ann, I appreciate you showing this picture. Tell me, when do you award the scholarships?
We award them for high school seniors in May for the following school year. And then we have several students who got the scholarship as a high school senior, but have come back and gotten another scholarship during their college career. So we have a total of 9 students currently getting scholarships for Broward County.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So tell me a little bit about your unit. When do you meet? Are you back meeting in person now?
Yes, we are. We started in October, and we meet on the first Thursday of the month. And we've been doing hybrid meetings with people in person and then also a Zoom issue. We're working on the technology on that. It's a good size unit. I think it's probably one of the larger ones in the state. I love telephones. It's been around for a long, long time. And it's, don't you love phones? Broward County includes Fort Lauderdale, so you have an idea of where we are.
Outstanding. All right. Well, if you do me a favor, Ann, if you would just drop your email address in the chat up there, that way anybody who is in Broward County that maybe not is associated with your local unit could get in contact with you to find out when the next meeting is and when they can come down and see you and join in the group. Because it looks like you have a great time, and I love the fact that you're raising money for future students and or for future college students. So we appreciate you joining us today for being our spotlight. And we'll keep rolling on. Thank you very much, Ann. We appreciate you. So my name is John Green with Association Member Benefits Advisors. I live a little bit north of Houston with my wife, who is a second grade elementary school teacher. She teaches in the same school where she went to, as well as my 3 kids. I have spent most of my career helping active teachers understand what their retirement years are going to look like. And so I appreciate the opportunity to share with you a little bit about what's going on out there, as well as the active teachers. I just got back from a conference of school educators last week in Dallas, and everybody's glad to get back together now. So it's a lot of fun to do that. So just a quick reminder, and Ann mentioned she was in Tallahassee last week. FREA is always constantly there for you to make sure that your pension, the things that you work for, are there when you're in retirement, that you can count on those. And Ann will share in subsequent webinars on the website, emails, alerts, things like that, what the latest bills are that are up there that could impact you and how you can get involved. Also designed to help preserve the benefits you've enjoyed, that you've worked for, and keep you connected. One of the ways through COVID was to keep us connected through these webinars. Whether it's hybrid, whether it's in person, whatever it is, FREA is out there to help keep you connected and keep you abreast of the changes to your discounts, your benefits that you have as members as well. So we've been around for about 40 years at AMBA. We serve over 75 associations, very similar to FREA, retired educators, active and retired state employees, firefighters, police officers, nurses, things like that. We've got 3 gentlemen who are our leaders for different parts of the state. Eric Cannon, Alexander Williams, which you saw in the pictures that Ann showed. He is the district manager responsible for South Florida, as well as Sam Palett, who is responsible for Panhandle. Eric Cannon is responsible for Central Florida. So these gentlemen are designed to be there for you for anything that you have questions about. So what I want to talk about today, just because Ann teased this a little bit, she talked about her mother. She talked about her home. My mother is 80, she turns 81 in May, and she lives in a 2-story house, not too far away from me, but the thermostat is upstairs. And that's my biggest concern. Something happened to her if she falls there. And falls are becoming more common and costly for those of us over age 65, but falls are preventable, and they don't have to be an inevitable part of the aging process. Even though women fall more than men, hips fractures are most common out of that group out there. You know, broken bones are about 1/5 of every fall out there. We're going to talk today about how to understand how to make your home a safe environment. And our special guest, I'm going to introduce him in a moment, is going to help you identify those areas in your home, maybe that you can make some minor tweaks to, whether you already are receiving care in your home or to prevent you from falls, things like that, how to make your home more safe. You're going to see this AARP home guide conversation throughout our presentation today. Everyone who is on this call today, I'm going to send you a PDF copy of this home guide. That way you've got exactly what our special guest is speaking about today, and we'll be able to follow up with it with your spouse, with your family members, whatever, to make your home more safe out there. So let me introduce our special guest today. The more I get to know him, I'm going to call him, and I do this affectionately, the Forrest Gump of our presentation today. Bob Bush has been around all over the world, serving our country in the Air Force, worked in a bunch of different positions. Many of you may know Bob just by the fact that back whenever COVID hit and we were all learning Zoom from our grandkids, from our Sunday school classes, whatever it was, Bob did several courses for FREA. So right now he is I don't want to call you semi-retired because you're busier than ever, Bob, but
Yeah.
he's preparing for a trip out west, out to Utah. But Bob is our special guest today, and he's going to walk us through this whole conversation about home fitness and being safe at home. So I'm going to stop sharing here, Bob, and turn it over to you. And welcome, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, John. Welcome, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I am Bob Bush. I am a retired educator. My wife's a retired educator. I love speaking to retired educators. I probably did, at the request of Ann, maybe more than a dozen, probably 24 Zoom sessions early on in COVID. And I got to know a lot of retired educators in your group. And I had a lot of fun. I have fun whenever I'm talking with folks. So if any of you are out there that have had me for a Zoom class, I welcome you, and nice to see you again. So unfortunately, with a webinar, you can't see everybody's faces. I could probably pick out a few people that I know. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let me bring everything up here, just one moment. Okay, this is a session that's called Home Fit. And as Ann said, that, you know, as we age, making sure that our homes are safe and comfortable and welcome places for us to remain. All of us want to remain in a home, I think, as long as possible. I know I certainly do. And I went through having my parents for many years in a assisted living and then nursing care. And it was, it created a hardship, as Ann said. And, you know, I think they would have enjoyed staying in their home, but their situation, they just, some health issues, they just couldn't do it any longer. So I'm well aware of both sides of trying to stay in your home and the fact that you do have to go someplace for aid and assistance in your later years. So the AARP Home Fit workshop, which this is designed to show you how it's possible to make your home a safer place. This session, as John said, is extracted from AARP's Home Fit Guide, which you're going to get. You can, and if you could also get it online by going to AARP and just type in Home Fit, and you're going to get publications. And there's a lot of other publications besides this one. They're specifically related to seniors and just life for seniors. There's a whole lot of things in there that you can go and take a look at. So I'd encourage you to do that. Here's our agenda today. We're going to talk about the perks of making your home fit, being that you're able to stay in your home and not have to go into some kind of assisted living, something that or nursing home. So it's a goal that I certainly share. And my wife and I are spend more and more time talking about now how to further make our home safe and comfortable as we age into our more senior years than we are already. We're talking about some new bathroom, tearing out some of the bathroom things and altering our bathrooms, and just generally things that we can do without spending a lot of money. The bathroom will cost a lot of money, but other things that are easier to do, you can accomplish with a little ingenuity and not too much money. So we're going to also talk about universal design, and what that means is designing your home to be user-friendly for a senior, if you will. And we're going to take a little tour kind of by living space, like kitchen, living room, stairs, bathrooms, laundry room, and so forth, about how to make your home safer. Now, there's a lot more to this presentation than I'm giving you today, because I cut it down to, there's a 60-minute version. I just reduced slides to bring it down to about 25, 30 minutes to have some questions. So you know, I would encourage you, all of it is in that Home Fit Guide. It's very, very detailed with checklists. So I encourage you to take a look at that. All right, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word home? And I'd like to think about that. And I'd like some of you to put them in chat. What's the thing that comes to mind when you start thinking about home, the word home? So we'll see if we can get some responses here in chat, get some interaction with our audience. Rest and family, thank you. Comfort, love, great. Thank you, Susanna. Don't be shy, folks. Jump into familiar surroundings. Oh, that's a big one, isn't it? Your own neighborhood. Yeah. Thank you. Well, a lot of things come to mind when I was thinking about my beautiful backyard. That's a great one. I like my backyard where I'm comfortable. Great responses. Thank you. Well, thank you, folks. Keep them coming. When I was thinking about this yesterday, I was looking through this PowerPoint thing, you know, comfort, love, familiar friends, local doctors, grocery stores, security, someone puts in there, all these things. Each of us has a image when you start talking about a home, what we want to have and the reason we want to stay in your home. You know, it's memories, feelings, comfort, families, photos, good, feel calm and secure. These are the reasons we want to make ourselves comfortable in a home with home fit ideas so we can stay in that our beloved home as long as possible. Some of the costs of not staying in your home. If you leave your home, now it may cost you a little bit. I'll put this in right now. It may cost you some amount of money and effort to get your home to a situation where it is more comfortable, it's safer, it's ready for a senior living environment. But if you move out of your home, that's the cost you spend if you stay in your home. But if you move out of your home, you can see that the costs basically go up as you go down this list. I mean, just having a private duty home health aide as compared to a nursing home with a private room. I mean, the costs escalate as you go down this list, as you can see here, you know, through assisted living, nursing home, and semi-private, and then nursing home. So sometimes it may be a little money spent today will save you some of your precious financial resources in the long term. So you have to stop and think about that. That's a personal choice, of course, and it's something you need to think about quite a bit. Now, again, universal design, it sounds like some kind of technical thing, but it's basically how to modify your home to think about additional ways to accommodate all people, regardless of ability. And, you know, making modifications that are low maintenance and energy efficient also improves the livability of your house. And additionally, making some modifications so others can use a wheelchair or walkers or things that you anticipate, not anticipate, that's a poor word, things that you might be required as assistance devices as you grow older. You know, none of us wants to be on a walker or a wheelchair, but chances are that's going to happen to all of us someday. And some of these things include zero-step entrances, which Ann talked about, wide doorways on the main floor. And universally designed homes can be used by all people in a lifetime. And, you know, when you look at it this way, if you make some modifications to your home, it may be a sellable item when you go ahead and try to, as you move out of your home eventually, or at the end of your life, your home is, you know, sold off by your heirs, that sort of thing. So it can be an improvement that will enhance the value of your home. So we're going to begin our little tour here with the exterior, and that's access, basically. What you want is to have a zero-step entrance somewhere on your house. Somewhere allows access into your house. As you know, raised steps and so forth cause problems for people with mobility limitations. So you want every house to have a zero-step entry. Now that may not be available on your front door, but it could be through a garage door into the house where you can pull your car into the garage, that sort of thing, or it could be a side door. So just because your front door is not readily available to make a zero-step entry, you could alter your home to have another entrance into the home. You know, some of these things may have to be done by a professional, but there are other ways that you can more simply do that. Exterior steps and walker steps. Now, this is an example. Steps can be individual, a stoop or a set of steps leading to the entryway. Now, walker steps, what are those? It's hard to tell from the picture, but what they're talking about here is these steps have been modified where the tread or the place you put your feet is deeper, and the rise of the step is shorter. So a walker steps have a longer tread and a lower rise, which makes it easier for somebody with a walker or cane or something to be able to access the home. And notice one other thing here, that there are railings on both sides of this set of steps, railings on both sides, very important. And the railings go beyond the lower step, or the first step as you're entering the home. So you have a chance to grab hold of the railing before you actually even have to step onto the tread of the stairs. If you aren't able to do that, there are several other options here. You can see the left picture is a permanent ramp. Now, this may require some financial expenditures in your part, and have somebody professionally come in and ramp that's going to remain affixed to the structure, for the rest of the life of the home. And you can see the second picture in the middle is a temporary ramp, and that might be a more cost-effective option to you. And the third picture is this shows a threshold ramp. I know my particular house, I have a step, it's one step up from the porch into the home. And this can be a tripping hazard for somebody with a walker or a wheelchair, a wheelchair access. So you could put in a threshold ramp, which probably is relatively inexpensive, so that you don't have any step at all coming into the entrance of your home. So those are three possible options as you look at making the entrance into your home accessible. Okay, we're going to switch now to virtual home assistant. There are lots of ways of technology now that you can have devices that you talk to, like Alexa and so forth, that will turn the TV on and off, will dial video calls, play music. My wife and I have a Alexa. I'm not promoting Amazon brand, believe me. We just,
I'm not sure.
Alexa's talking to us. Alexa, stop. I shouldn't mention that name because the thing over there is talking to me. We use it all the time to play music. My wife was a retired professional musician, besides being an educator, and she likes music on all the time. So our devices, I won't mention the name, is always playing music. You can have your device control lights and appliances, do online research. I can ask this person over here that, I was testing it out yesterday. Well, I'll just try it. Alexa, what's the longest river in the United States?
The longest river in the United States is the Missouri River, which is 2,341 miles long.
There you go. I hope you can hear that. So you can ask for spelling. You can ask for jokes, or it's kind of entertaining. You can have them adjust thermostats, as John was talking about. You can set it up where a cell phone can adjust your thermostat in your house, lock and unlock doors. My son he's a real technology guy. He has all this stuff at his house. He turns on his hot tub in his pool before he comes home by his cell phone. So you can make shopping lists. That's kind of fun. I use this device to add things to my shopping list, and you can go in this door and read your shopping list. And you can also call through your device, and it provides reminders. Sometimes if I have a meeting in the morning and a meeting in the early afternoon, I might want to have a little rest, and I'll tell the device to wake me up after 30 minutes in case I nod off in my recliner, and that way I won't miss my next meeting. So lots of things you can do with that. If you need some assistance, ask a young person. They can probably, if you have any grandkids, they can almost all tell you how to work these things. All right, entering in the entryway doors. We've gone away from the step process in starting to go into the home now. Entryway doors, entering and exit your home. So here's an example. The typical door is about 30 inches wide. Now, some wheelchairs won't go through that. So you can, rather than tearing out all the walls and such, you can put these double hinges on your doors, and they're designed, they swing. You can kind of imagine how it swing back, and it opens the door away from the frame and allows you to get a wheelchair in and out of that particular doorway. So that's a really good example of how you can make some relatively minor adaptations to your home to allow you to have easier access. Here's a look at a front door here. Let's look at what we see. We see there's a video camera doorbell, which are nice. They're not too expensive anymore. You can hook them up, and they can either be battery powered or hooked into the doorbell as a part of electric accessory to the house. You can, they have a bench outside, have a lighting on the door. And here's another example is the lever type handle on your door. Those are highly recommended. We have them on our doors and I like them a lot. They're highly recommended because it's easier to grip for a senior. And if you're using a walker or something, just pushing down the door will make it easier to enter. And another thing about it is that most of them do not have the push button lock on the back of them. So you cannot accidentally lock yourself out of the house, which is an important feature. You can see this handle here on this door, which is the same type I have on my home. It has the handle and the lock is a separate key device. So there's no way you can no way you can accidentally lock yourself out by going out to get the mail as you exit the house. And I did have a round doorknob at one time that would do that to you if you weren't very careful. So, another thing they talk about here is you can see in the middle of the door, there's a peephole. This door has no windows. There's a peephole for somebody to look out to see who's at the door if you don't have the doorbell camera where you can look on your cell phone. Now, another thing you can do is, I've seen oftentimes, is you put a second one, and they're pretty easy to install. Just drill a hole and put a little device in there. Put a second one in the middle of the door, so somebody, for instance, in a wheelchair would be able to look out that door and see who's outside. That's a security feature. We've moved now, excuse my clock's going off in here. We've moved now from our entering the house into our spaces as we come into the home here. Not every home has a large foyer, but mostly homes have some space there, which leads you into the house. And these spaces should be free of clutter and provide storage for many things that are carried or worn. And natural light is nice in there, but if you don't have a light, maybe you want to put an electric eye in there. As soon as you walk into that space, will turn the light on. So here is an example, and you see these things with the little green stars here. These are considered easy fixes, and you find these in the Home Fit Guide. Anything with a green star is considered cost efficient, yet inexpensive and easy fix. Just as an example, you can see here, this is supposed to be a desk, this piece of furniture right here, so you can sit down and write something you want, but you can see they have storage for shoes. They have a place to put your keys, a place to put your mail, a bench to sit down, put your shoes on and off. And they have some storage lockers below this bench to put miscellaneous gear in. If you do not have a closet entryway closet, my particular home I live in right now does not have a closet and entryway. And so having hooks to hang your coats on, it might be an important feature to you. So again, just adjusting your furniture and having convenient storage here. And you notice these are low depth items. They don't stick out into the access way significantly. So one of the things you'll be looking at. And we're moving into the kitchen. Okay, regardless of how many homes your room has, residents and guests tend to congregate in the kitchen, unless you're banished by a household chef, which is me. I don't like anybody. I'm the chef at my house. I don't like people in the kitchen when I'm cooking. So I tell them to stand on the other side of the counter and talk to me through the hole in the wall. So you want to make sure the kitchen is free of hazards because, you can't have fire spills and slips and so forth and drops. So things tend to happen in the kitchen. So you want to be sure that it's a safe place. Taking a look again here, adjustable lighting under the counter. There's many types of stick-on things now, they're battery operated. You just turn them on and provide you additional light. A lower cabinetry, you can see here the cabinet to the left of the stove has the slide-out drawers. We remodeled our kitchen with a thought some years back to make it easier for seniors. And we have the slide-out drawers and on the cabinets, and they're so great. When you want something, you don't have to bend down and dig. You just slide the whole drawer out, and it works wonderfully. Or the shelf in the cabinet, I should say. So that's a good way of doing it. And drawers are often generally more convenient for seniors than possible shelves where you have to dig around in the back of them. So those are things you can do. Again, the easy one on this page is additional lighting to help you out. Let's talk about handles and hardware. changing subject slightly. You see the handle on the drawer. Research has decided that this type of horizontal handle is the easiest for a senior to use. And so you could easily convert your drawers and handles onto your drawers like that. And this type of faucet you see in the picture with a lever as opposed to the round knob that you turn on is also much easier for a person with arthritis to use. I have arthritis in my hands, and I like things that don't require me to grab things and twist. All right, moving out of the kitchen now, and we're going to talk about bathroom. Bathroom is a source of slipping, falling, and it's a hazardous area. You don't think about it this, but a bathroom is a hazardous area for a senior. You have water on the floor, and you're trying to shower or bathe or whatever, and get it on and off the toilet and so forth. It is probably one of the areas of the house that is most, unfortunately, have the most of the falls by seniors. Here are some things that low cost devices you can put into your bathroom. Now, I said up before, my wife and I are considering getting our bathroom rehabbed, and it's going to cost money, and we're trying to sort it out what we're going to do about that. But some of the easy fixes for a senior you can see in the picture here is this top left corner of this commode chair device that fits over your toilet, if you will. And it's easy. It helps you, access or sit down or stand up if you have issues there. The lower left picture, the taller toilets. I mean, my wife and I are definitely going to put those into our home sometime in the near future because they're easier to get access on and off of. Take a look at the shower, the upper right-hand corner, the type of spray nozzles you can just hang on a hook and reach down and use to spray yourself. You don't have to actually stand up in the shower. And notice the grab bar and the seat in the shower picture here too. A seat for a senior is I think almost a must. And the grab bars are very important. Notice that the grab bars are horizontal. Research has shown that you want to have horizontal versus the vertical type of bar. And the bottom right-hand picture, this is an interesting one, is this access transfer bench, they call it, and allow you to get in and out of the bathroom, the bathtub. Now, in my particular case, my wife and I have a walk-in shower, but it has a little berm, a little step that you have to cross to get into the shower. And that's the thing we're worried about taking out because we would like to have a straight walk into the shower. Unfortunately, the floor is the same size, it's the same level it is in the house. So to make the shower where it slants down into the floor below the level of floor in the house, we're gonna have to tear out the floor of the shower, which is going to be kind of expensive. And that's one of the reasons we're thinking before we go ahead and do that work to make sure when we do it this time, we're never going to do it again. Some other accessories in the bathroom. You can see that there's a grab bar on the toilet paper roll there. Grab bars with a built-in soap dish that would be in your shower. And again, recognizing that horizontal grab bar is the best position. We would like to have some caution for you at this time. You probably need to have a professional install these grab bars. Don't use those suction cup types. Those are really unreliable. And you really don't want that grab bar to break off when you really need it to hold you up. So have somebody, a professional or somebody who really knows what they're doing, install those things for you. It's probably not, if you're not really a mechanic type person, it's not maybe a self-help project.
Hey, Bob, before we move forward into living spaces, this would be a good time to talk about questions. We have a question that somebody asked about, are there services or, I don't know, financial aid that will help people come out and make these modifications? Are there senior services that can do this kind of stuff for individuals?
Well, that's an excellent question. I'm a Shine Medicare counselor, and we have a whole staff of people in our office that do things like long-term care. And they also have an ability to tap into other services that are offered in the community. The simple answer to the question, I do not know of one currently. I didn't think about that, but I do not know of any. But that would be a good thing to possibly, if you're a member of a church, to
Exactly.
see if there's someone in your congregation. I know I know people that members of churches that do a lot of volunteer work of going to the senior parishioners' homes and helping them do things that they cannot do, like changing light bulbs that are high up above the floor, kitchen lights or things like that, and doing other tasks. But I do not know of any federal or state funded organization that comes out and does that. If anybody does know anything about that, I'd love to have it put in the chat and I'll investigate it further. But to my knowledge, currently, I do not know that. So again, that's, if you'll remember me talking early on about the cost of spending the money now as opposed to going into a nursing home, that's a personal decision. And granted that a lot of these things I'm talking about will require some financial expenditure, but again, I would say that an investment early on, if you can do it, would pay benefits in you not falling or hurting yourself. And as John said, the falls are so devastating for seniors. I have many senior friends that are older that after a fall, they just never recovered it. And unfortunately, that was the end of their lives. It's very sad, but it's a fact of life that when you fall as a senior and you break bones, your recovery potential is limited significantly. So it's an important thing, and it's a great question. I thank you. Unfortunately, I don't have a great answer for you.
Anne has been putting a few things in the chat out there that you can pay attention to, that folks, you want to check on some of the links that are out there. And a question was asked, and I think Anne kind of followed up a little bit with it with maybe an article. You were talking about those smart devices, Bob, like Alexa,
Yeah,
those
right.
type of things. Are there any type of smart devices for someone who may be hearing impaired?
Well, that's a good question. Excellent question. They have I don't know the name on the top of my head. They have the telephones that you can get for free from the government, and they actually will come out and install it. It is a telephone that prints out, for hearing impaired, it prints out the text of the conversation going on. I think they're called TTPs, but I can't remember if that's
TDDs is what they are.
Yeah. Say it again, John.
TDD. And did you
TDD.
find something that on the smart devices?
Well, I'll go shop that one next. My thing with the smartphones, the TDD phones, is make sure you have a really good wide bandwidth.
Yes.
Because we put one of those into my mom's house. She couldn't get her TV to work. It sucks. She's in an old condominium building, but if you don't live in your own home and you don't have good bandwidth, that phone sucks up a lot of bandwidth. So that means that your Wi-Fi probably won't work well, that kind of a thing. So you want to make sure you got good Wi-Fi if you hook that phone up.
Well, thank you, Ann. That's a real good point. And I'd say that there is no universal solution to every one of these problems. It all depends on your home, the age of your home, like the types of wiring you have. Everything depends on something else. And as Ann said, if you don't have good Wi-Fi, getting all these electronic devices to work reliably in your home may be a problem for you. So it's again a personal situation, but these are suggestions, and you work around and do what you can to enhance your home. You may not be able to get everything done, but there are some little tips and tricks here, and I'll show you a checklist at the end of this presentation. That's good questions. Thank you very much for those. Now we'll move into living spaces. And I got a couple of things here, little green stars. First of all, here you see the lamp cord going across the carpet here, I guess it is. And it's covered up by one of those tread covers that covers so people don't trip on it. And they show that the little green star to the right of the picture having to do with the carpet. As my wife, we were taking carpets out of our house now, deciding this is a tripping hazard, and we're going to get rid of this piece of carpet and just use the floor. I mean, it's carpets are comforting, carpets are warming, but if they're tripping hazards, you need to get rid of them. But let's look around the rest of the room here. They have, the couches and I guess the love seat, we'd call this here, are well away from this table. This little round table would allow people to have access to this coffee table type device here. Okay, one of the other things they mentioned is that the curtains, you don't have them hanging down to the ground because they could present a tripping hazard. You do not have the cords hanging down where people could get hung up on the cords, especially if you have children come into your house, you have grandchildren or something like that. They also recommend that you have round corners on your furniture that people access. So you see the table and the round coffee table and the end table has rounded corners. Those are things that could injure or bruise an senior adult. So all of these things are thoughts to how to make your living space more livable. And they say about 2 feet of clear space between the coffee table and the ottoman or the love seat here. And avoid the round corners and the rugs. Be very, very careful. Rugs are the biggest tripping hazard for adults. You may want to just think about taking your rugs out of your living spaces and depending what kind of floor you have, obviously. If you have throw rugs or those kind of things. Now, if you have wall-to-wall carpeting, that doesn't make any sense. But again, all of these things are depending on the type of home that you have and what existing facilities you have in your home. So, moving now to stairways, okay, hallways and stairways. Hopefully you're to be in a one floor house as a senior, but a lot of people aren't. So let's look at the some things here. Here in this stairway, they have the carpet folded back. You see here on the, that could be taken out. They have a low profile table here in the entryway. On the stairs, you can see the bottom, the left hand, that they have some kind of access, lighting. You could put sensor lighting in. Again, I would say that the 2 rails, handrails, one on either side, and notice again, the one on the left side comes down farther than the first tread. So you have a chance to get a hold of it before you actually start up the stairs. And they say be in the Home Fit Guide, be very careful about your carpeting if you have it on this stairway is securely hooked so it doesn't buckle or pop up or something like that. And if you don't have carpeting, they recommend that you put skid resistant treads, the glue on type things onto the floor. So those are the type of things you're looking for in a hallway. And you can see there's lighting up at the top of the stairs and the bottom of the stairs, and you should have a switch on the top, lower the beginning of the stairs and at the top of the stairs, so you can turn the lights off either direction. Again, if you could get into a 1-floor house, it would be better. Now, let's talk about those people that don't have ability to move into. Obviously, there's financial, penalties of trying to move. It can be a big drain. So maybe you have to be into a 2-story house. So a chairlift is a possibility. These are expensive. I have some relatives that are now putting in both. They live in a 2-story house and they're putting their living space. It's kind of a mixture, but their living space is down in the walk-in basement, and they have now putting in a stair lift down to the basement and one from the garage into the house for the reason that there are steps coming up to the front of the house. So their solution to solve this problem is to put a stair lift in the garage from the garage floor up to the living space, so they can come in without any steps just come into the garage and then come right into the house on the stair lift. And then of course they want to go into their basement for the living space, but they can be expensive. But notice one thing about this, you want to make it so it comes around the corner. So you're getting on and off your stair lifts on a flat surface. Switching to the laundry room now, another big potential place for injuries for seniors. And you can see what's going on here. There's a laundry basket with wheels, a table for work, a place to hang things up, keeping them brooms and mops out of the way, keeping bottles and so forth, clean supplies put away neatly. And this is the top or left corner of this cabinet. On the top or left of the picture is a basket you can possibly take into the in and out of the house, for instance. One of the things is recommended is to have the laundry facility inside the home on the first floor. Well, that a lot of Florida houses, as does mine, the laundry is in the garage, and you have to go down 2 steps to go out to the garage. And there's also the laundry washer and dryer are built up on a little raised item, which creates a stepping hazard. So, we'll have to be very careful as my wife and I as seniors when we use those laundry facilities. But they also recommend in the home fit guide that you look at getting the front loading type washer and dryer so you don't have to bend over the top of it. So all those things, some of those are not easy and inexpensive fixes, but just a little bit of thinking, something like, for instance, a rolling laundry cart may be the solution to your issue. All right, there in the home fit guide, you're going to get that. There are 34 pages of detail, and there's a lot of detail in this book. I went through it yesterday, and again, it's broken down by living area here. And I only gave you the 30-minute version of this class. There's another 60-minute, which is quite extensive. In the back of the book, on the last couple of pages, is a quick fix checklist. And these are about probably 20 little things that you can put in there that are inexpensive. And then the next page is also the harder to do. And those are things that are longer term and may require professional installation. And when you start talking about that, you're talking about finances again. So some facts on aging, just to top things off here today. 2 decades into the 21st century, America is to be a nation in which is the dominant type of household. 30% of households are going to consist of single adults living alone. By 2030, which is not that far away, 1 in 5 people in the US will be 65 or over. And by 2034, older adults will outnumber younger people for the first time ever. So, things are changing, the population is aging, and as we want to stay in our homes, we have to take some initiative to make our homes safer. So as a conclusion, we talked about the perks of staying in your home. In the long run, it's cheaper than living in some kind of assisted living facility. And we talked about the universal design of making some minor alterations in your home, the entryways, and so forth. Gave you a little tour on making your home fit place. We talked about the guide, and you can also go on aarp.org home fit and just look that up and Google it, and you'll get some information. So thank you for having me today. I've enjoyed talking to you, and we'll stop sharing. I'll see if there's some questions here. So.
Yeah, thank you, Bob, very much. While I'm sharing here, we'll go ahead and open up the questions. If you've got questions, drop it into chat, drop it into the Q&A. There have been some really good conversations up there. So let's go ahead and see if we've got some questions in there. A lot of thank yous out there. We do appreciate that. So just a reminder, we are recording this conversation, and we'll have it probably in her email box here probably the next day or so, and then she can put it out, make it available to you as well. Everybody on the call today, we're going to send you a PDF copy of that home fit guide that has all those checklists in the back of it. That's something that's extremely important. So if you've doing a little homework, which I love to give retired teachers homework, we talked about putting together that ICOD folder, that in case of death or disaster folder back in January. Now you have a February checklist to do. And so we're going to keep you active and busy on that. So Bob, thank you very much for joining us. And again, he's going to monitor the chat. If there's something that pops in here, feel free to address that. We had a lot of folks talk about independence, security, good neighbors, comfortable, and then they talked about all the costs of these things. There are some advantages of having FREA and AMBA together. There are a couple of plans out here that if you do them properly, there may be some money that you can use to retrofit your home or to make it more comfortable. We've talked about long-term care coverage. We're going to have a conversation on long-term care in March, but a good long-term care policy will have some money built into the policy that allows for a retrofit of your home to make it livable for you to stay there, as opposed to going to an assisted living facility or to a nursing home. Now, unlike some of the stuff Bob talked about, some of the preventative ways, unfortunately, you do have to go onto a claim or have a long-term care need, but most people want to stay independent, secure, good neighbors in a comfortable environment where they're familiar. A good long-term care policy can cover that. And then we have some individuals who have taken a cancer, heart, or stroke policy out that gives a lump sum of money if you have a cancer diagnosis or something like that, or a heart attack, that you can use that money any way you want to and use it to retrofit your home or to do some of those home safe pieces there. So those are opportunities out there. You can contact us at AMBA. I'll share with that in a moment, and we'll talk about those things and help you out that way. Just a quick reminder, we're going to talk about next Monday, not 2 weeks, but next Monday, we're going to have a conversation on the basics of Medicare. We're just going to break down the alphabet soup. We're going to share with you some of the changes that took place this year that could greatly impact you. And we'll talk about Medicare, whether you're Medicare eligible or whether you're not Medicare eligible. This could be good for you as well. In March, we're going to talk about long-term care at the end of the month, and we're going to talk about the emergency transportation issues in Florida. So please, please, please tell your friends about this. This is an excellent opportunity time for you to tell your friends and former coworkers about these FREA webinars and be able to answer all those questions that you have, get them involved. But right now, Ann, I've kind of gone down the list of all of our participants, and you said you've got two $50 winners we're going to give away.
Yeah, we're going to go to number 11 and number 19. So if you would tell me those two names, please, John.
Number 11, and I'm kind of probably going to butcher this last name. It's Bev Hope or Hoppy? Hoppy. Okay. Bev, if you're here, if you'll just put it in chat, I'm here, and we can get you your $50 gift card for that. And then I know I'm going to butcher this last name for number 19. It's Sandy Segalia.
Visalia, I don't know because Sandy and I have never met. So
Okay.
Sandy, if you want to phonetically put it into remarks, you can do that.
Sandy or Bev, if you're both here, you can drop your name in chat. All right.
There she goes.
Seglia.
There
Okay.
you go.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Sandy will be, yep. And then Bev, if you're here, drop that in there in chat and we'll know that you're here. And then Ann and her staff can get out the $50 gift cards to you as well. All right, we've got a couple, let me stop recording here.